कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Alright, it's a special episode. I don't know where the camera is. I'll just keep looking everywhere. A special episode of our podcast. We have a great guest here, Ashay Bhave. I call him Ash. We're great friends. He's a super successful young man. Don't judge by the hair, which is beautiful and full. But he's really done well in life and hence he's here. But we're here first to talk about the car we're driving, which is the Volvo XC40 Recharge. Thank you, Volvo, for giving us this opportunity. You need to be intelligent to drive these cars. And of course, we're all about saving the environment. I'm not stalling because I don't know what to do. It's not that. I'm just trying to figure out that I should first press the parking. And once that's done, I should go into drive, which I've done. We say bye to our good friend, the watchman, Bahadur Singh. Bahadur Singh, thank you for being with us. Ash, what's your pet name?
Ash is fine.
Ash is fine. Yeah. Ashay sounds very Sanskriti and, like I'm a learned man, which I'm not. You can see I'm a little ginger, not because I'm a bad driver. Okay, I am a bad driver. But because this is a beautiful car and I don't want to mess it up, whatever happens. Now, Ashay says he grew up in Navi Mumbai, which of course means I have to do this. And I'm going to try and turn here and let's hope I'm good. You may not know this. This is an illegal turn, so please don't do this. It's not right to do. But when construction work is going on, what is legal? Nobody understands because the road is all broken and cut everywhere. It looks like my marriage. Everywhere you look, there are holes. So hence, I'm okay.
Okay.
This podcast is about you, but I'm just rambling on because I'm so happy like a boy with his new toy. Quick word on the Volvo, then we go straight into you.
All right.
And that is electric cars. That's the future. Let's face it. We can't afford that rubbish fuel pricing. So we have to. And the whole world has done it. And India is now part of the first world. We're no longer third world, whether we like it or not. So we've got to set examples. So Volvo, here we come. It's a great drive, bro. Great drive. Lots of space. I, in fact, have two of my cousins sitting in the back. They don't have a home because Mumbai, we have the house problem wherever we go. So I've kept them at the back there. They live here. It's that spacious and nice. One plug for Volvo. And so the time has come. Pollution is an issue. Space is an issue. We waste too much money and time with fuel, environmental problems, etc., etc. 200 reasons. Are you going electric yourself?
I am actually. I just pre-ordered this bike. It's called the Ultraviolet F77. So it sounds like a jet.
Wow.
It actually sounds like, the name sounds like a jet and it also like goes like a jet.
Sorry to ask this, but is that why your hair is this wild because of your bike riding?
No, I don't have a license.
You don't even have a license?
I don't ride bikes, but I mean I want this to be like my first bike that I've bought, and it's also the fastest electric bike.
You don't have a license, you don't have a bike, but you're just promoting electric vehicles.
No, I'm not promoting it. I've pre-ordered one.
Okay.
I'll get it because I know it's still going to take like 6 months to get one.
This guy passing us doesn't know how to ride either, or this lady.
Yeah, so it's like a small startup, so I'm sure the waiting list is big, and I applied for the pre-order like 2-3 months back, and I'm pretty sure it's going to take like at least till the end of this year or even next year for me.
Although I think in the interest of our show, we must mention that you will buy the Volvo as well. You bloody friggin' monkey! I love animals. Huh?
Are we allowed to swear?
Of course. How can you drive in Mumbai without swearing? Look at that moron overtaking from the left. He thinks his ugly car can dare. I'm not trying to be classist here, but let's be honest. His ugly car cannot come close to this beauty. When you have this really good-looking girlfriend and, other people bring their ugly relatives next to her and they just look wrong. I don't like that. India has to change now. Okay, this show is actually also about you more. Actually, the podcast is all about you. Ash, young man with what we haven't done because we're acting like buddies is your first, a lot of respect. You're a fantastic guy. Because it's one thing to have ideas. It's another thing to have an idea that's successful. It's a third thing to have an idea that's successful and makes the world a better place. It's almost like, impossible. I've never done that and I've been on the planet more than 30 years. Don't judge by my young looks. So let's tell everybody what you're all about and then you can tell us how it started. So Mota, it's basically that you got into this business of making shoes first from recyclable plastic.
Yeah, plastic bags and plastic bottles specifically.
Plastic bags and bottles, which is, again, the good deed for the day sort of thing, because that's the one thing nobody could get rid of, right? I mean, they lie there forever. And you said,
stay around for thousands of years.
Okay, so now you talk and tell us, please. Otherwise, I want to hear from you.
So I'm the CEO and founder of Thaely. So Thaely stands for...
Thaely as in the Hindi word.
For plastic bags, exactly.
Yeah.
And as the name suggests, we make vegan sneakers made from waste plastic bags and plastic bottles. So about 10 plastic.
In between, if I interrupt,
Yeah.
I'm waving. These are fans who don't know who I am.
Yeah, there's one right
Yeah,
there.
I just
There's a
wave.
crowd, actually.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Sweet of you. Yeah, back to your story.
So yeah, the shoes, they're made from 10 plastic bags and 12 plastic bottles.
One
And
pair.
that makes one pair of shoes. Yeah.
10 plastic bags and 10
12 plastic bottles.
12 plastic bottles, 10 plastic bags. So,
Yeah.
but hello, some plastic bottles are 1000 ml, some are 500.
I mean,
some-
just on an average, we go by weight.
what
and-
a jerk to ask that question. You must be thinking, how do I slap this guy and not bang the car?
No, we get stranger questions, honestly.
No, but I'll tell you why this is an interesting question, because when I have this, I'm going to tell people back, in the gym in the morning or in my home,
Yeah.
at the two places I go to, and I'm going to tell them, I'm this kid, he's very innovative and all that. They're going to exactly ask me this question. Kitna bottle tha? And all, because Indian minds are like that.
Yeah.
They always want to know.
No,
this.
it's a rough average. We do it at the start and end of every production cycle, basically.
Yeah.
And so we just finished, I would say, 3 batches, and that's the average we're at.
Hey, want to have some fun? Let's just say hello
Sure.
to that lady for no reason. Let's see how she reacts. Hello, auntie. Hello, auntie. Hi. She waved. Yeah.
Perfect.
We made her day. She saw you and said, "That's a handsome young man." Boom, boom, ash. All right, now listen. Let's get
Yeah.
back to the main story, the narrative here. How the hell? I mean, you were 18 when it started, right?
19.
19. So, due respect, 19 guys are thinking about, buying themselves things. Nobody's thinking about the environment, thinking about girls and life in general. So, how did this happen?
So it first started out as a design project. It was mostly for my design portfolio. I was applying to colleges and, just needed multiple design projects so that I can present it and show that I have
So, in
a
a
body
sense, it's
of
like an
work.
accident. You were just doing work.
I mean, I wouldn't call it an accident. It wasn't
okay.
like
Some great
an
things have
apple.
come through
It wasn't like an
accidents, like my
apple
kids.
falling on my
Yeah.
tree and on my head and stuff. It was not really supposed to be a full-fledged business. It was more like a idea that I'm
Okay,
going
Ash,
to.
I'm going to interrupt you. We have a
Yeah.
crisis. The guy in front of us is in a rickshaw, but he stepped out of the rickshaw. The red light is on, but he's out of the rickshaw, which means we can't go anywhere if he doesn't get back in the rickshaw. The
Yeah.
hazards of driving, electric or not.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like he's concerned about me or anybody else behind him. He's just retired from
We're
driving.
just stuck here. He's left.
Oh man. After you finish your plastic bag revolution, what can you do something about the rickshaws? While they're driving, can you
Sure.
get rid of them? Recycle them with the driver inside. Oh man. Okay, so I used the wrong
Yeah.
word accent. What I mean is that it just came your way that you're doing the project,
Yeah.
and then you tell us.
Okay, so I had basically the main aim was first to recycle plastic bags.
Huh.
The plan wasn't to make shoes or bags or anything. It was first to just find a way to recycle plastic bags into a viable material that can be used for things, basically.
Okay.
And after months of
And this has sort of been done before, that bit.
no, it hasn't.
Nobody's done it before?
No. So it was just a lot of
No,
experimentation.
I mean for general
and-
recycling, where you take the plastic and use it for anything else.
So plastic bottles, to a certain extent, they've been recycled. We've been recycling them for decades now.
For washing after potty, for example. They have used
Sure,
it.
but the crazy thing is that we only recycle 9% of all plastic
Even
produced.
today?
Even today.
Wow.
But that's because we're not able to incentivize the collection or the recycling of plastic.
I gotta be honest, when I'm done drinking.
And that's reusable.
This is
So that's
reusable,
great.
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And compared to aluminium, 75% of all aluminium produced is still being used. So, it just shows how much we can actually do, but we're not really doing. So yeah, this was a completely new idea, it wasn't done before. I'm specifically talking about plastic bags.
Correct.
In fact, plastic bags were not even collected because nobody could sell them forward because nobody was recycling them, which is why I'll get to that bit later.
But at this point,
yeah.
you're only thinking of plastic bottles?
Plastic bags.
Sorry, plastic
Plastic
bags.
bags.
And you're only thinking about the grade, the project.
Yeah.
You're not looking
yeah.
at it as a world view thingy that it's
No,
become.
it was for myself, basically.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I had
Why did you
this-
become such a generous human being? You were a nice, selfish Indian male trying to get marks and just pass the damn project. No. Where did the Mother Teresa thing happen?
No, in fact, I was trying to get into college. It was,
Oh.
yeah. So I was already in business school and I'd already done a year of design school.
Wow.
I went to I
One
did
second, so you
footwear
have a
design.
design school background as well. Hence, all this is making sense now.
Yeah.
So you have an eye for this immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you
true.
could. So that's their natural inert sense that this can become that and
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly. So I had some knowledge of what kind of fabrics go into shoes or what kind of machinery is used on an industrial scale. Of course, the machines that we're using, they're not used for recycling at all. So we had to modify existing machine, and then
Yeah, it'll be like you have to start from scratch. There
start
isn't
from
any.
scratch. Exactly.
Was there some abroad, maybe Korea, Japan, one of those countries?
No, nobody. We're
So you
actually we're about to patent the
Wow.
uh,
You serious?
process.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking at a billionaire now.
Oh, hopefully.
No, I'm serious. Folks, this is breaking news. This is not, rest of it is rubbish, but this is real. Okay, so this guy has got a patent of something which is
We're
first in the
working on
world.
the patent. We don't have
No,
it
and if
yet.
you look at
Right
the
now,
West-
it's a trade secret.
No, but if you look at the Western world, I mean, you're gold for them, bro. This is
This
is gold.
I hope so. Yeah.
I can see like the Nordic countries, the women will line up to marry you. The men will want to be with. They'll all have this haircut. Everyone will want to be you. Wow,
Yeah.
that's huge.
So yeah, it was.
I think you're
it
being
was,
very modest, so we won't know the truth here. Obviously, you didn't stumble upon whatever. There's a lot of research that went into it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so it was a design project, and then for a year I didn't really do much with it because how do you even like start a company and get funding and so all of that? Nobody in my family is in business or in footwear or in fashion. Nowhere related. In
Daddy,
fact,
मुझे plastic bag बनाना है.
in fact, my dad was in the oil industry, and like
Wow.
plastic bags and all plastics for that matter are a product of the oil industry.
Oh, is that so? What,
Yeah.
Is this karma?
I guess
It's a karmic cycle coming back.
it's a
Excellent.
full cycle. Yeah.
You're paying back the dues. And will be
My
paid back
father said-
by the United Nations. The
Yeah.
Nobel Peace Prize. And
Yeah,
you are on our
also.
podcast. Can you imagine? Oh, that's
So-
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, so for a year I didn't really do much with it. So it was a nice design.
But you got
idea.
reactions initially from people like the way I'm reacting to you right now.
Yeah, I did. A lot of people were like very shocked and surprised. They were like, "Why are you not doing anything about this?"
Yeah, it just sounds like a great,
But it was. I mean, it's you can. A lot of people have ideas, but actually like executing them, that's the difficult bit. And it was just impossible for me to. It was just unimaginable for me to find funding and stuff like
I
that.
can imagine.
You know.
In India.
I was in
everybody-
in Dubai at the time because when I moved to New York, my family moved to Dubai.
Oh.
So
But you'd think the Gulf is a little more serious about, I don't want to be racist, but about hygiene and recycling.
I mean they are, but at the same time, I was 19. Who's going to give like $100,000 to?
It's also
like
your look, People go by look. If you look serious like me, they'd give the funding.
Probably.
You look like this young kid who's never worked in his life.
Exactly.
And you're the opposite. You're like
Exactly.
this genius kid who looks like he hasn't worked. Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the university I was in, they have this Shark Tank like competition at the
Oh, wow. Huge fan.
yeah, at the end of every semester.
You presented this?
Yeah. So final year, I presented this. So it was either I get a job at Huawei, which thankfully I didn't because
Because it became a bad name?
yeah,
That was an unnecessary hit below the belt.
I know.
Yeah.
So it was either I get a job at Huawei, which
The Chinese will be your customers too, bro.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
Maybe your main customers. Be very careful.
no, I mean, you know what happened to them. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. So it was either that or I somehow get Thaely off the ground, and
Yeah, the name was already there, right?
yeah, I got the domain like
Quick segue back to that then. So how did you get the name? This is back in Dubai now.
back in Dubai. Yeah, yeah.
This come to you.
So
somebody
I
suggest-
had the fabric ready and I made a shoe prototype out of it.
Mhm.
Okay, because I've always been interested in shoes all my life, and I know I've studied footwear design, so I knew how to make shoes. So I used the fabric because it was very leather-like. It's a leather replacement pretty much. We call it Thaely Tex. And
But also plastic bag. I'm just trying to think in the lexicon of Maharashtra, at least, maybe not
Yeah.
North, I'm not sure. You say Thaely all the time
yeah, all the
when
time.
you're talking to people and talking about the
Yeah,
bag.
yeah,
So that's also, it makes sense. So
yeah.
because you want something which is user friendly and they don't
Yeah,
think too much
yeah.
because it's a very everyday
small,
product.
It's a small name.
Yeah.
It's the domain was available. So it's just Thaely.com. It's not something weird.
That's why I wanted to call IVM bloodyfool.com, but they said no. But I said people relate
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Didn't understand. Sometimes the
So-
simplicity of the name can be like the
Exactly.
most genius idea. Sometimes when you think
And
about
it's easy to pronounce for people abroad as well.
It's
know,
exotic
it's-
for them, I guess. So you can't go wrong
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right. So Shark Tank. So we finished. the
yeah,
whole
so
story.
it wasn't Shark Tank. It was something like Shark Tank, but it was more of a mock pitch. Nobody really.
Machi Ghar or something.
Yeah, it was called Eureka. It
There you
was-
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so nobody really gets funding. So if you win the competition, you get office space in the university's incubation area, and
So it's a mock thing. You're
Yeah,
not
it's a
actually
mock
getting
thing.
funding and getting a
yeah,
little boost.
but they sponsor your registration costs in the UAE because that's like a big expense. It's like
Okay.
5-6 lakhs almost. So I ended up winning the competition,
Mhm.
and one of the judges in the competition was this Swiss social entrepreneur called Matteo Boffa. And
I want everyone listening to repeat that name.
yeah,
Very
Matteo
important.
Bofa.
Tough one.
And he pulled me aside after the competition and he said, come meet
I have
me
15
tomorrow.
lakhs in the Swiss bank for you. No, that was somebody else. Sorry. Yeah.
He said, come meet me tomorrow at the Swiss Business Tower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Here's
because
where
he was
opportunity meets moment. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
because he was the at the time he was the vice president of the Swiss Business Council. Now he's the president.
So that's a bit, again, karma in a sense. I mean, he should have been there. It was a business sort of thingy, but
no, but
you
it
lucked
was
out a
also
little bit.
about like being in the right place at the right time for sure. Yeah,
He may have gone to pee at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, he was somebody who was very involved in sustainable business ideas, and even he had a company that made bags out of billboards because you can't recycle billboard materials, and he had actually sold that company.
Oops.
So yeah, so he had he was ready to invest. He had a bunch of connections. So literally the next day, we signed an MOA, and we made the first like.
What's an MOA?
It's like
agreement.
It's a memorandum
MOU.
of association or MOU. Yeah.
I signed an MOA with the traffic police here to let me go through the red lights.
Yeah. So literally, like in the same week, we started working on a more refined prototype.
Going to that period for a second, sorry to interrupt, is that you don't know that all this is happening for you. You're just going along with what's going on. You have no idea that you're onto a big thing yet, are you?
I mean, I did research on it, and it did seem a little too good to be true because
that's what. So what I'm asking is, were you excited? Do you feel that you got something, or you just?
I was excited, but at the same time, I was also like
practical.
Yeah, I was being realistic because literally a day before I did the interview at Huawei and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I don't know how well this is going to work, and I might just join that company next month or
This
something.
is the middle class mentality we all saddled with, Why do we do that? Something you think about all the guys like yourself, Touchwood, who are successful.
No, because it's just almost impossible to find funding and all of that in India.
True.
Like, this was like no strings attached basically. Like, it's not like,
I mean, it's too good.
It's not like you have to pay me back, or like,
Can you believe that people like that in the world?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, you mean one guy in your lifetime?
Exactly. And, that's the whole thing about, my journey so far. I've met some great people who've helped me along the way and really guided me and mentored me.
Like you said, the idea firstly is yours. Yeah. The pioneering concept is yours. And then where you take it, deliver it, implement it, the design, all that is yours. So it's all you.
Yeah, so that's what happened. Did
you notice how I let the ambulance go? I could have been a prick and, said, no, wait, I don't care if you're dying, but we have a conversation here, but I let him go. Yeah. Okay, technically I didn't let him go. He was 30 feet away, but I still let him go.
Yeah.
So great. So the Swiss guy, whose name I cannot remember. Matteo, as in Matthew or whatever.
Just Matteo.
I'm just going to wave to these people. I don't know who they are, fans with cameras.
Probably.
Shahrukh! Hi, yaar! Ki haal hai? What's the up? Just messing with him. There's no Shahrukh. You know that. But the people don't. So he takes you under his wing and then?
We made a more refined prototype and, we raised more funding. At the end, we raised like about $115,000.
Wow.
And then...
Can you just take us, for those listening and are really interested now in how the money part of it, let's face it, that is a very interesting part. How do you raise funding, as in you go and present things? How does it work?
Yeah, you pitch, basically.
You literally pitch, like old-fashioned?
Like Shark Tank.
Okay.
Like Shark Tank. Literally, you pitch, you say, this is my idea, this is what it'll grow to, this is the valuation. So, Matthew, give me this much money.
So, you guys together now are pitching?
Yeah.
Or is it you alone in the room?
No,
just takes
him and me, because, of course, I'm a nobody at that point.
No, but you look at the success stories, it's the young kid who, now it's the other way around. It's almost like that's the guy you want.
Yeah, but it's still,
that sounds wrong, no? It's a young kid,
but
that's the guy you want.
I feel like the startup culture still hadn't hit Dubai really. Like, there weren't a lot of young people coming out with ideas and stuff. So it was still like very hard to get into, and like it was great for him to open doors and
but I suppose you'll
get through.
You're in a situation where this has happened for the first time in your life. You're fearless. I think of young cricketers and all, when they initially play, or any sports person initially, that fearlessness is there because you just gung-ho.
True, I didn't have much to lose. And,
and there's no, in your back of your mind, you're not thinking of how this went before.
Yeah.
A beautiful story of yours, but I want just trying to understand the whole process of how you present.
Okay, how do you present?
How do you raise the money, literally?
How do you raise the money? Okay, so firstly, you have to make a business plan. That's the first step, I would say. And have a proof of concept as well. Like, I think it really adds to your presentation if you have like a prototype or at least like a representation of what it's going to look like. So
Mhm.
that's the first step, I would say. Next is, you need to have like a small pitch presentation, generally 2-3 minutes. Like you don't want to take up too much of somebody's time. It's also called an elevator pitch. Like literally it should be
Yeah.
short enough that you can pitch it.
I've done that in elevators literally with
Yeah.
girls. I've actually said, hey, do you want to go out? And the floor reaches
Yeah, it
us.
has to be short. It has
Yeah.
to be like 1 to 3 minutes. That's all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then you basically present your idea. You tell them this is the amount of money we need. These are the sales we're going to get by the end of this year, or whatever your projections are, and you have to give them also an incentive.
So what's your, I'm sure the big question is, as a student of Shark Tank and having researched everything, you have to give a long-term plan as well, I guess,
Yeah.
right? No one wants a
Like a
short-term plan.
five-year
A five-year plan.
at least.
So what would you have said initially would be the goal? Where would you have reached when you were presenting initially?
So we just went by like first year, like I just remember the first year projections now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think initially we said that, we'll make like $60,000 in the first year and then do like $180,000 in sales like the next year.
So 2 years, 300%.
Yeah, basically.
And then by year 5?
I don't remember how much it was,
But it would be
it was
proportionally
it was in
growth.
like
Yeah.
the millions, basically.
And so where are we now?
So
Police car speeding. I want to interrupt to show you the police car is going over 80. Like, how dare he? He's not on emergency duty. Once again, the police doing what they want and no one's stopping them. I'd like to pitch that show. Sorry.
so the first year we already did like,
Can you notice all the cars going ahead of us? And here
yeah,
we
it's
are.
true.
You feel like a loser when you're with me? All that great stuff you've done in the last few years, wasted.
So
Huh.
since July 2021 to right now, we did about $200,000 in sales. So we
Wow.
did a lot more than we
My God. So in
thought
a
we
year
would.
and a bit, and you've
Yeah.
already cracked the third year code.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Bro, good I met
So
you.
we
So I'm
almost
looking for money.
we almost
for-
broke even also. So that was great. Like we didn't like burn through cash a lot. We just had like
Oh, excellent.
yeah.
So you're above the red line already.
Pretty much
Sort
like
of,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like
Wow.
6-7 lakhs. It's
So
not
now's a
lot.
good time to tell you that I have an NGO called Cyrus Broacha Help Me. Basically, I take money for myself.
Oh really?
Yeah, for no reason whatsoever. Just so that I can buy this beautiful car and drive around for no reason. Slowest person on the road, getting dirty looks from everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, there are fans. Wave to them. Yeah, lovely guys. Okay, so now let's come to the second part of the story, which is where do we go from here? You've now established it. You're now actually a working business.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, how did the parents all react to all this? Because once you're in design school, next thing you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, at first they were a little like
Skeptical?
no, not skeptical. They were terrified, honestly.
How sweet. Yeah, I thought I've done too much. He's like skeptical.
I mean, of course, they were very supportive, but at the same time, they were like, you have to be like very cautious. Like, even while the company was already started and while we were making sales, they still had like.
Your dad was a corporate guy, right?
Yeah.
So imagine, it comes from the same background in a sense, but doesn't trust the businessman, the business community.
Yeah. So, is starting your own business at 21, and I mean, of course, they still see me as like a kid.
Guys, starting your own business is one thing. Before I bang this car into this moron Uber driver, which I might one day be, hence I'm doing this. Because I don't think I can start my own business. My point is, 21, you start your own business.
Yeah.
It takes off, belly up. From the beginning, it does well. And, it's got a long window. I mean, we've just opened a slight bit of the window.
Yeah.
There's lots to go.
So in like the next 2-3 months, you're going to see us like everywhere. Like we're going to be unavoidable. Like, you'll see us and.
But the good thing is, everybody has to back
everywhere.
you. It's PC to back you. They're not
exactly.
not back you.
That's
Red
that's
light.
that's one great thing that we've had. Like we've had a lot of people support us because they believe in the idea and they like talking about the idea. It's.
But let's
it's also.
Sir, if lal batti hai na, main kya karu fir? Look at the views we're getting behind. Okay, this is a good point to take a break, I think, for a second, and then we'll come back and continue talking. We've just left the ceiling. Here's our break. All right, we are back after the break, and now we've got to find our way. We're at somewhere, for those outside Mumbai, this is Worli sea face sort of. I mean, you don't really see anything, so I don't know why we call it what we call it. It's just I saw construction work, that kind of thing. Oh, wrong indicator, tells you my driving capability. So far, Ash, you've not been worried by my driving as such, right?
No.
You didn't feel
I can't
fear.
see through the fog.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's mean. 1 second, I'll sort that out. There you go. Hi. This is it. The rain hasn't stopped. Give me a second. I've stopped it. There we go. Stop. I think I've stopped it.
Okay.
But yeah. So now let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
So you got off to a running start. All good. I wouldn't say there's pressure on you, but you want to now go bigger and bigger beyond
Yeah,
just.
yeah.
I mean, plastic has so many components to it. So tell us
Mm.
vaguely. Obviously, you can't tell us everything, but
Yeah.
tell us.
Wait, sorry, tell us which bit.
No. So what's the next step
Oh,
now?
what's the next step? Okay. So basically, right now we're coming out with pretty much 5 new colors.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to launch in the next 2 months. We've also signed some large distribution deals in Australia. We're signing one in Europe soon,
Mhm.
and America's next, and then parts of Asia. So we're going to have a lot of physical presence, and we're going to have the same thing for India as well, and then come out with a few more styles like mid next year.
What about other markets like Russia and China?
I don't know about Russia right now, honestly, but it's a little difficult to do trade with them.
You must have felt like slapping me 3 to 4 times already, I think, in the show.
No.
And it's been pretty friendly banter. So I can imagine if we didn't like each other, what would have happened. Look at these speed breakers. I mean, what is wrong with the municipality, whoever makes these things? It's like they want to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no speed breaker, that's a mountain. I mean, this should be a different thing, It's part of a geography exam. Check out the speed breaker. After Mount Everest, we have Kanchenjunga, and then we have this one at Worli. Ridiculous. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. So now let's discuss a little bit of the world in general.
Okay.
See, I know it obviously feeds into what you're doing and makes sense, etc., etc. But do you see a world where all these things become not just a necessity, almost like a crime if you don't recycle, if you don't, at some point? I can see that happening.
I mean, it's already happening in parts of Europe, like in Germany, they don't pick up your trash if you're not like segregating it properly and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think some parts in Pune is,
Wow.
is the same.
Pune is caught up with Europe. But what about you, Wally? What about you? Look at that speed breaker.
So I think it's definitely needed. You also at the same time you can't really tell people what to do always. Like, people don't like to be lectured, and we definitely don't need more rules and regulations. So in fact, I would say that
but
we need to incentivize people to recycle. For example, we work with
that's like saying in the pandemic, we would say nicely to people to wear a mask or keep a distance.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. So, almost like, in America, they were giving guns and stuff if you get vaccines, right? You get like coupons for McDonald's if you get a vaccine. So yeah, something similar needs to happen in India as well.
They were giving guns?
Yeah, like you get in Texas or something like that. Yeah.
Oh. You think it'll work in India?
What, guns for vaccines?
Recycle your plastic, you get a rifle.
No. God, no.
I think it'll work in India for the rich if you say you get a parking. Give me a parking spot, I'll recycle that plastic. Immediately I'll be in, whatever happens.
So yeah, you need to incentivize it, be it tax breaks or, for example, like on a much smaller scale, we're already working with an app, but, now we're, and this app called Z-Loop that is mostly for Europe and GCC and stuff, but, we're getting that in India as well, and it's going to be branded Thaely. So basically, it tells you what the nearest recycling bin is. And
nice.
And you can deposit your shoes or your plastic
India,
bags.
I think that's a huge idea. Is that your idea as well?
Yeah, it's going to be a part of Thaely as well.
I bow to you, bro. Bald patch, so I can't bow in public. People get embarrassed. But wow, that's fantastic. Because I'm just thinking, as you look at the length and breadth of the country, the biggest problem is that now you have the idea, but how do I access
how do you do
a
it?
bin?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll be very user generated. So if you see so for example here there's dry waste, wet waste.
Yeah.
And I can
Hold your breath, speed breaker. Sorry.
I can take a photo of this, and then the app recognizes where it is, the geolocation and stuff, and then the next person can come in, they'll know where the recycling bin is, and then they can deposit it.
Can you also add speed breakers to this concept?
Hopefully.
Wherever. So I know well in advance because now my organs have shifted. I need 15 minutes to put them all back together.
I'll let my developer know. Yeah.
Really? Do you drive at all?
No, not at all.
Oh, you want to buy a bike and you don't want to drive yet, you said?
I can drive, but then I don't like driving in traffic, honestly. It's not fun for me. Yeah, back to the app. So basically you get reward points every time you recycle, and you can use those in exchange for our products or other sustainable brands who come on our platform, basically.
Bro, I think it's a great idea. I'm worried that you're going to grow so fast and so big, and I didn't figure out a way to monetize my time with you. This 1 hour-ish time that I have with you, I'm just hoping that, something comes out of it. Yeah. Because now when I call you up, I'll have to speak to your Japanese translator and all that, because you're world figure. And
I'm getting an assistant soon, actually. I don't have one.
How old is the assistant? It'll be a young person who can handle buttons and all, no? So again,
no, I need a older person to make me
Okay,
feel more important.
sounds wrong. Again, sounds very wrong. But maybe if you need security or catering.
No, but like every time I'm like, let's say I'm like calling somebody for the first time, they think I'm like an intern or something.
For me, the most romantic side of this entire story is what you look like. There's nothing wrong with what you look like, but you look really, in Hindi, the word masoom, English, innocent isn't enough because there's a certain.
I get that all the time.
I mean, and you think this guy's like a firebrand, I mean, he's actually under all that. He's this huge entrepreneur with some great ideas, and whether you like, the confidence of those ideas are coming through, and
Thank
more
you.
will come through. But please don't change. I just love that paradox, the dichotomy.
Yeah.
That the guy can be this, have this hair, ride his bike or whatever he wants to do, and and still be a. But do you feel changing the world and now feel pressure?
I definitely feel pressure, but then I'm also doing stuff that I'm like passionate about, and I mean, of course, I do get stressed and stuff, but I know it's like it's for a short while. There's a bigger goal at the end of it, and yeah, it keeps me going. Basically, I've learned to manage pressure and stress and stuff.
So give us now the idea of the projects in the future. You're a design guy. We haven't spoken about the designs per se. So what are we looking at? What are you sort of redesigning or re-engineering? Or not re-engineering, engineering for the first time.
So basically, I keep saying we because it just makes the company look bigger than it is. But I developed this process and designed this whole process of from start to finish and how to collect and segregate these plastic bags, how to sanitize them, and ultimately how to process them into the fabric that we call Thaely tex. And apart from that, I of course design all the shoes and the content that comes out.
Wow. So now tell us about your personal life and all a little bit. Like, what do you do? How do you chill? What are your hobbies? Because you're a regular kid end of the day. Not kid. Kid is wrong. Don't say kid.
I mean, no, I am pretty regular like that.
Yeah.
I do regular people stuff.
Yeah.
No,
why I ask that is also because
lizard.
you think it's a bit distracting, a young guy in his 20s, and all that. Now you're away from your parents in a sense. You got that full freedom. You're also successful at a young age. So you think of the other side without mentioning it. They're partying and, having what have you, all that. So.
No, I think a good work-life balance is definitely like needed. All of my investors and my partners, they're from Europe, and I think that's something that they know how to have fun at the same time, like be serious about their business and their work, and that's something that we as a country need to learn from them. Like let's say work gets over at 6, everybody goes to play football, and everybody has a beer, chills out. So I think that's very important. Of course, my work doesn't end at 5 or 6. Probably ends at 7:30. But
okay, now let's talk about the Volvo. I think we haven't given her enough respect. It all comes. The reason, I suppose you're right for this show completely. One, of course, you're super successful, but it's the environmental message that everybody. It sounds a little preachy. People go on about this environmental thing. Yeah. But if you're taking it seriously, there's no other way.
There isn't, honestly. Yeah. I think it's already a little late, but then all we can do is sort of.
The bike is not allowed. He didn't know he's a foreigner. It looks like. Sorry.
All we can do is sort of, slow down the process of like global warming and environmental change so that we can adapt.
So in a sense, you're a cynic who's doing this.
No, but it's true. I mean, we're already seeing extreme weather patterns and we're already seeing drought and famine and,
So then why am I bothered? Forget about the plastic bags. I'm going to die anyway.
That's the thing. We have to minimize our impact as much as possible so that we don't all end up dying. We have to sort of let technology catch up and slow down the process so that we all can adapt also, because it's the same thing during like COVID, because wearing the mask isn't necessarily going to end the pandemic, but it is going to slow down the process so that hospitals could catch up or build infrastructure.
I only wore the mask when I hadn't shaved. It was looking really bad that day. I couldn't think of any other reason. But do you think governments will back you? Like it'll help your business in a sense because they're directly, like for the car, and why the Volvo is going to sell really well is because we've got tax rebates coming through your way. You've got building incentives if you have 2 or 3 green cars. What's it called? Thingies, the green label. Yeah. Then you get certain discounts on your rent, etc., etc. Yeah. So they're giving all these incentives.
So I hope something similar comes through for
this is the show
green products.
This is the show to talk about this. Every member of parliament across the country, north, south, east, and west, listens to our podcast. That I can tell you.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to say hi to anyone in Lok Sabha? This is a good point. No specific name to be mentioned.
Mr. President. Sorry, Miss President.
Miss President. Or you can just say Mr. Sharma. That's always a generic name which works. generally.
Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely like, reduction in GST for like green products.
Mhm.
That's, I think, about time for sure. And
Is that, what
but at the same time, you can't always look to the government for your solutions. You need to build parallel systems and
Can you feel the pep in the car now?
sort of, yeah.
Suddenly, I'm going really faster. You said government has to listen, bring down the GST percentile a little bit for you.
Yeah.
The only way to hear is
No,
get
it
closer to
would
them.
definitely help because we sort of need to make green products more accessible so that the general public can also
I
buy.
think so. What the hell are they doing all this stuff for? If the government doesn't come to the party, they can't keep preaching and say nothing. I mean, do nothing. They've got to put their money where their mouth is, right? So everybody goes in the right direction. That's the only way to do it collectively.
Yeah,
I don't see the
it's
point
true.
otherwise.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, you can't, like I said, you can't rely on the government for everything.
You should
else.
get 100 crores funding immediately. As this podcast ends, they should reach your
Right
table.
now, yeah.
Right now. And everyone in the government should dress like you and look like you.
True.
As a mark of
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah,
Would you like that or would
definitely. I
that
would love
irritate
it.
you?
I would love it.
Yeah. You want a cult, is it?
I would love it.
The Ash Boys. There they are, one after another. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing about Thaely. We're a for-profit company. We're self-sustaining
Mhm.
and we're also doing good for the environment. Like, for example, we recycled, just with the 3 batches that we've done, we've recycled 50,000 plastic bags already and like 45,000 plastic bottles. So, we're completely transparent. All our shoes have a QR code. You can scan it. You can know exactly where the plastic was collected from, what goes into making the shoe, where the shoe is made, how much percentage recycled content is in the shoe itself.
Yeah.
All of that.
Before we wrap up, let's look at it from the point of view now of competition. Is there anybody you have to compete with?
I mean, yeah, there are sustainable brands that are coming up in India as well. Sneaker.
Are you in touch with them? Is it like a collective or is it like a study what Ash has done and let's take him down?
I'm sure it goes both ways,
A lady cut into the line just now. I don't know if the camera caught it. It was horrible. Hate to interrupt what we're saying, but I can't believe that. It's not a sexist moment. But how did she do that? She's in that line, she cut into this line. No one's saying anything.
Yeah.
Really?
And, we're also competing with like much bigger brands like Nike and Adidas and more established.
Because they
brands,
conveniently suddenly find they have to do something also while they make the big bucks.
Exactly. So,
see, but that's the difference between you and them. You start with that premise. They have to end with that premise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one good thing is that we.
That's letting me go.
We started the company with sustainability and ethical practices in mind already.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already built a base. We don't have to reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
And
well, to be honest, the Swiss gentleman Matthew, if you watch the podcast, you'll remember him. He's the hero of the show. The whole idea he got into it, of course, believing in you as a person. And then secondly, because of the fact that the whole premise is make the world better.
Yeah.
Kill plastic, not kill
For
plastic.
Sure. Yeah.
Save plastic. What is the right word? Quickly.
Recycle.
Recycle
And reuse.
Yeah, kill is not a good word. But all said and done now, the parents must be very proud.
Of course.
I know they were a little worried. What was the word you used?
Terrified and
skeptical. And so now nobody's going to interfere with anymore now. You got your path, everything's out there.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you. Because I remember I'm like 20s people still trying to tell you, beta, what are you doing? Try this, meet this guy. That's all done now.
I mean, I still welcome advice. People still have a lot to say.
But you keep your earphones plugged in so you can't really hear. Like this entire podcast.
No, there's, some people have a lot of interesting things to say. Honestly, there's a lot of good ideas you can get through, people who have nothing to do with shoes or
I got to stop praising you, but it's so nice that you've got like no complexes about all these things. I'd be so irritated because I'll be the cat's whiskers. I'm not yet 24. I've done already so much. Our business has grown 300% in 1 year and a bit. And, I mean, so F off. And it's got sustainability. It's got legs. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're generous to people and have time, I think you should do a class just on how to behave.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're discussing, I don't know, you don't seem to like sports, but Vinod Kambli and how his career crumbled, the famous cricketer, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that people handle fame maybe not well and there's no way to teach that when you're young.
Maybe it's just not hit me yet, Maybe I just turn out to be this monster.
No, I think you're just being modest. You're just basically, you might turn out to be a monster later. You can change.
Yeah.
Women can have that effect on you, especially mothers. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think we should value the fact that some people do need help.
Yeah.
What is it, mental coaching, or whatever you want to call it, life coach, lifestyle coach, to deal with success, which is as tough as failure. It's literally as tough.
True, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't plan it. You're in Dubai one day, you're just taking part in a project. Next thing you know, you're cat's whiskers, everybody's interested in you, people are calling you up and you're on the map.
Yeah.
And we'll say bye to fans. Bye-bye. Just pretend, brother. Just humor the old man. You know there are no fans. Just Lucky there's some cars here following us. So it
Oh,
looks-
that man's definitely looking. See,
Yeah.
he's definitely a fan.
Yeah. He's thinking ये मेरा car pickup था. साला अब उसकी driver का काम चालू किया. I'm your rival, Mr. Oryx. So as we wrap up, let's get back to Volvo who brought us here. It's the Volvo XC40 Recharge. So all these products should come under your gambit in a sense, the whole, everything that's to do with saving the environment.
Yeah, I should be gifted them.
You should be gifted them and also in some way it should be connected. Your whatever project you're doing, all these things should filter through, I would think.
Yeah.
But, I went to Amsterdam actually just before the pandemic.
Okay.
And everybody's on a cycle there. And
Yeah.
all the cars are electric almost that are being used. And the incentives, and of course, they're charging stations, all the important
Yeah.
You got to put these tools in place before you start. So they'll say smaller country, disciplined country, upwardly mobile country, all these things are in their favor. But you think India's like that, or you think we can work as a collective and everybody will end up using electric cars, recycling the plastic?
I think, as soon as it's accessible, it'll definitely happen. Already in Delhi, there's Delhi, Agra.
For a
there's
Mumbai
autos.
boy, you've betrayed us. You're already Delhi this, Delhi that, looking down on us. Ye link mein kya hai, kuch nahi hai. Come and see the Taj Mahal.
No, but there's already a lot of electrification happening there. There's electric scooters, there's electric buses. So it's already happening quite a bit. And, it's just, the cost needs to catch up. And I'm sure that'll happen.
Electrocution or that's Texas? Sorry. All right, we have to wrap it up here as we exit the link, and more importantly, because you've got a life and money to make and the world to save. I mean, absolutely great talking to you.
Thank you.
What a fantastic start to a career, which is going to go a long, long way. Remember this name, okay? Ash. It goes by the name Ash, but Ashay is the full name, Ashay Bhave. Just remember, our company is called
Thaely.
Thaely, and all the products go under the same banner.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're just making shoes and selling them.
Yeah.
This was
So you're
for
a Mochi, basically.
Yes, like my mom says.
Wow, your mom and me, same generation. You can see immediately, my son, Mochi. But mom, turnover is 54 million. My son, just another Mochi. Anyway,
Yeah.
so cheers, brother. But I'm now going from this beautiful Volvo to my silly cars brand I won't mention because I don't own this car. I just operate it for Uber. And great. So you'll be able to take yourself home now that you don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Yes, Ash Bhave, everybody. It's called
Thaely.
Thaely. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.